eyes on me. It's my time to make history. For my brothers I will bleed and bring home all the glory. I know they're waiting for me now to win it all. I hear my name cried in the crowd. They call. There is only one way I can survive. Fighting through all of the pain, the best will rise. Now my flames burn bright and my head's held high. Oh, can't knock me down. No, my fears are buried down tonight. And I dried my eyes 'cause I'm a fighter, won't ever back down. Now I'm breathing fire. I'm breathing fire. Now I'm breathing fire. Now I'm breathing fire. Now my flames burn bright and my head's held high. Oh, can't knock me down. No, my fears are buried down tonight. And I dried my eyes 'cause I'm a fighter, won't ever back down. Now I'm breathing fire. I'm breathing fire. Now I'm breathing fire. Now I'm Every second that I breathe is going down in history. We are victorious, can't stop me. Maybe today we'll fight our battles. I'll show you the way if you can handle it. You follow me. For you, no matter the circumstance, no, I won't back down. No matter how they show up to lose.
New racing experience. Wow, racing maps await you. The new racing template is online. Create your racetrack gameplay. Navigate the forest racetrack. Unleash your racing passion. Surpass your opponents. Become the king of speed. Unlimited speed. Ignite your passion for speed. Play WoW now.
Welcome to the 2025 PUBG Mobile Global Championship, coming to you live from Bangkok, Thailand. I'm your stage host, the 7WG. Starting today marks the beginning of the ultimate showdown, where the best teams from around the world will compete with one goal in mind: to lift the amazing PMGC trophy as the 2025 champions. We will start off with the Gauntlet, where top-tier teams will fight to get a direct ticket to the grand finals. The pressure is high, and I can't wait to see the breathtaking gameplay. I'm excited for PMGC. I know you at home and the desk is excited too. Let's send it over to the desk.
This is it. The world's sharpest aims, smartest minds, and strongest teams all are here in the arena, hoping to secure one of the 7 slots that'll take them directly to the grand finals. I'm your host, Todd Jukes, and right next to me, I got 2 of the best analysts in the business, Maxman and Neptura. Max, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling fantastic, Hot Juke. So good to have you back here for PMGC once again. And yeah, the best of the best is here once more for PMGC 2025. And we'll see who's going to be taking that trophy away from D+. If not, maybe D+ will take it home once again. We'll have to wait and see.
Hey, I'm so stoked for that. And, you know, speaking of stoked, Neptura, this is your first time here on the big desk. How are you feeling?
I'm so excited to be here, Jukes. Let's go. PMGC back at it once again. And this time, I'm here. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Oh, me neither. Me neither. For all you guys that are just tuning in here, haven't seen all the social media, this is the Gauntlet stage, baby. We got a whole new format, which we're about to get into. Max, man, I'm going to have you break down the schedule. But, man, I'm telling you what, this is insane. This group is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, this stage is the toughest. All the best teams from the full season in their respective PMSLs or regional tournaments is going to be playing in the Gauntlet for the next 3 days. And of course, for the Gauntlet stage here, we know you need to be in the top 7 if you want to advance into the grand finals, because otherwise you're not in top 7. Niptura, Group Green, Group Red, you're going to be put in the groups where you could be eliminated. So if possible, you want to avoid going in the group stage.
No, 100%, right? Because that is where you start to get eliminated. The Gauntlet stage is going to be a little bit more relaxed. Yes, you've got that opportunity, that top 7 to go straight to finals. But once you go, you're not in the top 7, you go back down to group stage. And this is where it gets really tough, because only 4th to 11th of each group go to last chance. You have 5 teams that are going to be eliminated out of each group there. This is where it starts to get to have a lot of pressure for these teams, because as you go further and further on the stages, your chances dwindle massively to get to the finals.
I mean, yeah, because group stage in your respective groups, you have to be top 3 out of 16 teams in Group Green or Group Red. And then in last chance, you have to be top 2. It is going to be incredibly competitive here, Hodrix, to see who's going to make it. But of course, the point system, the trial and tested point system, it's back. It's the same, and we love it.
It's the same, but we got that $3 million prize pool. Are you kidding me? For downloading a mobile game that you can play for free, man. This is so awesome. I always love to see just how crazy this is. And you know, you guys are so right. I mean, we got 7 slots available here in the Gauntlet, and there is a lot of monster squads looking to get those instantly. Because I'm gonna be real, you know, when looking at this roster with how stacked it is, I think there's a lot of these teams that it's pretty much do or die at this point. Like, they have to be able to get that slot to the grand finals here and now. Otherwise, it's going to be a big problem, Max. One team, though, I know that we're going to have a whole lot of confidence in, right? It's got to be Alpha Gaming, right? I mean, Zol, he's won this back in 2023, right, Max?
Yeah, I mean, he's an absolute OG. And look, if you don't have APG on your radar, we're not looking at the same esports, okay? Let me be very clear with you right now. We are not paying attention to the same level. Doc, Zyol, Top, Reefus, East even on the team right now going to be playing. Of course, I do believe Reefus is going to keep on playing here, Niptura, because the guy put on an absolute just destruction fest going forward in PMWC. He was putting everyone down, and I feel like it is great to see him hopefully play moving forward in PMGC because the guy deserves his slot. And will Doc stick with his team? We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, that is the question, right, Max? Because, you know, you're talking about Reefus sticking onto the team, and I think he's such a great addition, specifically because Doc does what he does, right? And if that doesn't go well, if Doc splitting becomes the Dockening, Reefus is the guy you want on your team that's able to clutch it back up and save the team from the doom that Dockening often puts the team in, right? So I'm really, really excited to see what he's going to bring forward coming into the Gauntlet for sure.
Oh, yes, indeed. You can see right now, these are today's matches. We're starting off with Rondo. That's right. If you haven't heard, Rondo is now in the mix. No more Sandhawk. So a little bit of a rip in the chat for Sandhawk, but Rondo is here. And for those of you guys that don't know, right, the biggest thing about Rondo is that they have those recall towers, Neptura, and that just changes the whole dynamic of how this tournament starts, right?
I love the idea that we have recalls in one map in Rondo, and Rondo is the one that we want here for sure, because I think the recall splits are going to be super interesting.
Well, there they are. We see them ready to go, man, live in Bangkok, Thailand, man. This is so great. We talked a little bit about some of the squads that we got looking at right here, right? One thing in particular that I think that is so awesome here about PMGC 2025 is there's a particular region that we haven't seen in such a long time, right? And that is India, baby. They are back, right? We got Orangutan joining the field. Neptura, I know this is a team you really got your eyes on.
I do. I love the way this team plays, and I think out of any of the teams to come out of India, this team has the most chance to actually do something and actually compete against these teams really, really well. Yes, they don't really have the experience that we've seen from other global teams right at the global stage. That is fair. But the way they play, they're mobile, they're opportunistic, they split, they use their vehicles to get any information, they third party as much as possible, they regroup really quickly. Like, this is a team that is very smart, and I think when you have that kind of skill level to pair with that, this is exactly what you need. This is all the elements of what you need in a team that will compete against global teams effectively.
But sorry, I gotta interrupt and also correct you guys. It's not Orangutan. That's not the team name. It's Team India, baby. Okay, that's
right.
what they're going by here in PMGC.
All right.
And actually, we had a little graphic talking about Rondo. As we go into Rondo, Mian7 had a video a few days ago talking about what they could really do. I would actually really like to see a third part, a hot drop coming out from Orangutan on APG, doing the typical 3-1 splits on Rondo. That would be such a good strat and a good way for them to kick off PMGC possibly.
Yes, indeed. Oh, man, we get a hot drop right off the rip here in Rondo. That's going to be just absolutely crazy. But you know what? Let's get this started. Let's go ahead and head on over to Blank and John Allen to get this started.
We're ready to go. That's right. You know, I'll get that sorted for him. So he is right retrospectively. But we are thrilled as ever to be back here at the PMGC, ready to ramp up towards the finals later on over in December. It is all to play for, and the Gauntlet Blank is the place to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very, very good opportunity to get whatever you want going into the finals, right? You get a lot of points here in terms of, well, not points, but if you get a lot of points here, you have a fantastic chance to get in. And even if you don't make it through Gauntlet, you get even more chances in the future to get towards those finals. So it is a perfect opportunity. We're starting things off here over on Rondo. I'm sure some of you may have seen this map previously over on some of our other PMSLs. But if it's first time tuning in, we do have a new map in. It is this one. It has the recall system that the guys on the desk were talking about, and the one gal, of course, which allows teams to get back into the match should they get knocked and flushed. It's an interesting mechanic. It does make it quite chaotic at times.
It looks like we're already in for a fast start here. R8 dropping down with Alpha 7 over on the northwest side. Blank. It looks like Alpha 7, though, they've already taken a knock and a flush. But remember, the recall beacons exist, so it's not all done and dusted for the player from Alpha 7. As a second falls as well, I think it's time to turn tail and get on out of there.
I think they actually do already have an outpost ready to res if needs be. From the guys on Alpha 7, so that's fine, should be okay. I think that when you look at this over on Rondo as well, what you typically see, decent nade to start off with 2, and ID7 looks to move up. Ida, sorry. Memori.
Dangerous, though. Secure has a shotgun. Oh, he's only got 2 more rounds, though. 1. No, we can't find it. The AKM in the back pocket, though, and the swap out is good for the turn of the spray, but the vents don't keep him safe. A couple more breathing holes than he would like there and get slashed to bits in the end. RA able to get a lot of points in the meantime, Blank. We've got another hot drop going on between Virtus Pro and Ulf. Is that a full squad wipe or is that just the flushes coming through? I think it was just the flushes.
It's scrappy. It always is really scrappy at the start here as well. Marfanning Revo, Alpha 7 looked to get back into the mix here, in fact, after that double knock occurred upstairs. Squeeze out underneath. GS9. Pretty decent submachine gun exclusive to Rondo. Amori's looking for the parachutes. Not seeing any just yet. Alpha 7 back up to 3 now. Again, as I was saying before, the typical strategy is to send 3 in towards a location you want to control. You have 1 outpost sent over towards the recall beacon.
Ooh, what's the battle of the M249s? Plenty of lead being thrown either way. Not too much connecting, though, but in the end, it was Marso to win that little duel there. You can see we've already got a lot of elims on the cards, Blank, but only 2 people are currently flushed. Make that 3 now. But look at the number of elims. We're already up to 11 elims found, and only 1 player has gone down. Orangutan have lost 1. And it looks like R8 and Alpha 7 aren't done just yet either.
R8's actually profiting quite a lot after this, actually. 5 points already on the game. It's fairly fantastic. Creo off in the distance, Obscures having to send away now. And R8 may just get 6 points from Alpha 7 total, which is a little bit weird considering they're a 4-man squad. But for R8, fantastic stuff.
I think this is the first time I've seen a team get more than 4 points on a hot drop.
Yeah,
certainly in Rondo. I'm talking about the Rondo recall system, but because we've hypothesized, you know, what's the maximum number of points you can get from one team. It looks like R8 are trying to set that record right now. Goodness me. Okay, if you get 6 or 7 points from a single team, I mean, they're called Alpha 7, right? Maybe that's because they're worth 7 points.
Yeah, we'll take 7 off them. That's 6 elims total. But also that indicates that Alpha 7 has lost the fight twice, which is not great for the prospects of Alpha 7 going forward. I mean, losing to R8 as well, in the past, that might have seemed as like a big upset, but I think R8's actually improved a lot over the years. Most of those players are veterans now of the game. They've been playing a very, very long time. I think they're all very good. There's some small changes here and there. But yeah, I think Marth's always been a bit of an underestimated player, and he's consistently been getting better. Ida also has just always been a strong suitor on that team. So I think for R8, you know, that is a fantastic start for them, but also not too surprising considering their uptick in their trend.
So, I mean, it's a great start, right? If you want to have a big game, crack on with Rondo. Get towards the top of the gauntlet. Alpha Gaming starting to make their move from Yulin down towards that southeast side. Crashing into the rocks there. Zol not going to go any further. Maybe spotted a couple of mad balls ahead of him and decided, you know what, I'm going to wait for the rest of my team to handle this one.
Man, APG's got brightness on maximum there. Like he was gazing into the sun. The screen was illuminating half the stage. When you switch the phone up to 120% on the brightness.
Hey, you know, they can handle it, those phones. They got all the bells and whistles. Thunder Talk.
Bring sunglasses in.
Off the wall, yeah. Yeah, I don't think they put sunglasses on your face. I think they're just short of that feature. But everything else, they pretty much got it on lock. Mad Balls crashing in, and Kara, Tulika spots one of them. And also has to crawl back upstairs. Remember, the recall beacon's still active, still accessible potentially, although it's going to get harder in the middle of the circle, which is where we find ourselves right now, Blank. It is going to be a little bit more difficult to find those recall beacons. And losing a player here is a little bit more terminal than perhaps losing a player further towards the outside.
It does get a little bit tougher. That's the sacrifice you have to make, right? If you want center, likely you're not getting a second chance here. Certainly possible to make happen, but by the time you start heading center, a lot of teams start to gatekeep on these recall beacons, which is something that's happening a lot more frequently. And I do think that this initial stint of eliminations, of aggression, does start to die down a little bit as teams head on over towards that early game, that mid game. I'd say that probably kicks in around about 12, 13 minutes here on Rondo, but it can kick in a lot later, as we've seen in previous PMSLs where things get really dicey the entire time. The question is whether it's really worth it or not, and I think teams haven't quite figured that part out yet. I think there's still decisions to be made whether to send 3 in, get some points here and there, and just send 1 out towards the center of the circle. There's decisions from certain teams. I mean, Papua Supermassive did this where they actually profited quite a lot off of Rondo individually by playing a 4-man all the way through to the end game. They never really participated in those early fights, but they were still getting a lot of big points because by the time they got towards 18 minutes where they were stacked, they were looted, they were ready to roam around as 4, there was still around 50 players in the lobby. So you still have a lot of time to pick up those points.
Absolutely. Right now, I'm looking on the map at Regnum-Kaya, Blank, in the middle. And they are on a 2-2 split, currently looking at 2 recall beacons, and one of them just went up massively in value. I'm expecting that they've regrouped to the east now. No real reason to stay on that western side one. Get a move on, because you know that recall is so valuable for you. And Regnum-Kaya want to keep that one under control. Alpha 7 still has 2, by the way, in the northwest side. And they are now near Virtus Pro. All right, they feel like, you know what, 6 points is enough. We'll crack on, lads. See you guys later. You'll stick around as 2 in the blue.
I mean, for Alpha 7, that second fight was really poor. The vision was that after that double knock, they were going to try and clear up the fight from there for R8 and deal with them. Unfortunately, there was a quick response from their side, and suddenly Alpha 7's plans get massively cut to shreds. Now they're sat on the outside edge, trying to move in. Real difficult maneuver now to make. I mean, they're passing through VP as well, and they sort of have to make a straight shot towards the circle if they want to catch a recall beacon in time and still have a chance to get some loot on board before you're transitioning towards those late game fights. I think it's tough for Alpha 7. I don't think that this initial match is going to go all that well for them whatsoever. Good shot from CEO over towards Solus. Real quick put down from him.
Yeah, Kara, remember, they lost a player earlier, and so they are staying as 3. They didn't break out to go for that recall. That's what I was talking about. Even though they are still available, they're kind of trapped in now. So Mad Balls being able to find that opener, really very valuable. And it looks like they are still under caution, but CEO, as you saw there, getting that knock over to Solus. That should be fairly resable. Uh-oh. Poser has to live under the cover fire of his teammates there as Lemon nearly takes him down out of the rotate.
It's one of those tough things, and it's a good point to bring up, is that if you're knocked and flushed towards the center of the circle, typically you're not getting that player back up again. But there's also that thing that's talking to you in the back of your head, right? The evil voice that sometimes you get that tells you that maybe you could go for one of the recall beacons. I think that is something that you kind of have to disconnect from your mindset in these games. If you're going down towards the center, you have to play on as 3. Yes, there's a possibility you can play on as 4, but does that possibility pose more risks? Most likely. So I think that teams do struggle with this idea of making those bold plays. I think if we go down to 1 or 2 players, I think it's absolutely fine to try and go for one of those maneuvers. It's probably not going to work out, but if it does, you salvage the game off the back of it. But I think playing as 3 is absolutely fine if you are center.
Nades over the top. This is Kara down to 2 now as Wolves took their 3rd player out. So it's just Lewis and CEO, and Nade bounces on the backboard, and it manages to land on target. The circle shifts out to the side, so this has the hurry up on the fight, and I think that Mad Bulls is just going to be able to close this one down here and now. CEO, though, has something to say, and Nade out through the door, stops first breach, gives him a little bit more time to play with. Teams are going to be leaving from around them, so not too much danger of third party, as Nade starts to bounce on in, and he goes down to the bombardment in the basement. Too much to handle. CEO, you're fired.
Given the old basketball maneuver there as well, bounced it off the floor into his face. I love that nade. You don't see those all that often. This is very messy right now, and I mean, we didn't really talk about the circle but too much, but this has shifted over towards the eastern side. There is a lot of space down towards the southern edge of Yeongu right now on Jidana City that is available. This circle could push towards as well. Most teams are sat down towards Tulang right now on the south side. Huge amount of water involved. It's a very uncomfortable circle, very, very uncomfortable, and you can tell that just by this terrain that you're looking at right here. It's, you know, small divots to play in, small defilades you can set up, but other than that, very rough. And I mean, this is where you really want to be able to use the destructible terrain to your advantage, right? Being able to bomb out some of these areas with the nades, create those small craters is going to be very, very useful. More so than this is having buildings like GS. That does make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, that's a big advantage right now. Coming in through on that south side, a little bit closer to Tuling. I think the teams on the south are going to have a little bit cleaner of a time for now, but I think as things move forwards, it is the teams further up towards the north where Thundertalk were playing before, and well, actually where DXavier are trying to send towards right now. You can see they're trying to get around the edge of this one, regroup onto Lambor, who is their northmost point blank. They're 3 players behind, and they are sending it forwards. They managed to find a sliver through. This is good scouting coming through for DXavier. They find themselves on the coastline on a nice little plateau.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And for DXavier as well, there's always this chance to move over towards that northeast side and try and cross the water if the circle does shift towards the northeast. It's there's a chance there. I'm not going to say it's like a startlingly large possibility, but it is one of those positions you do need to be aware of, which is quite like DRX's spot. They haven't set themselves up for a massive elim game, but should the circle move over towards the eastern side, they have the bridge to work around, and also they could just gatekeep if they wanted to, and that's where they could pick up a lot of eliminations in the chaos and the panic that ensues after a circle like that. But as usual, I'm going to set all this up, and we are not going to go towards the eastern side, so I won't talk about it until that happens. In the meantime, Thunder talks over towards that central arena, like you said, alongside with DXavier. Well, maybe I do need to talk about it. Completely undefined, right? Completely undefined. I'd say it was slightly more over towards that northeastern side in terms of land. But yeah, I think that you pretty much have to stick to your guns here. If you're out for 7, you are having a great time off the back of this. Mad Bulls moving into GK. Very, very bad stuff here happening for them. But luckily, Flip's on the outside. Wonderful off-angle player, but then he's got 2 enemies to deal with here in front of him. Safji and Ragnarok. See what Flip can get done here. He's very good when it comes to clutches, usually, for Mad Bulls.
Oh, Ragnarok rolls on in and finds the 2 players. I think there might have been 3 on the middle there for the Mad Bulls. Flip with a nade on in, looking to try and stop Ragnarok from doing any more damage here. But the rest of his team has melted. He might be an off-angle player, but now he is the angle. And we'll have to try and find something. Nice. A real big re-knock there as Ragnarok actually has to send around the edge. But fortunately, he is kowtowed down behind as Regnum Kaya chime into the fight. There's off angles everywhere, Blank. This is the messy area we were talking about. This northern road, so difficult.
That's a bold push. Very, very bold push from Flip here. He's been taking a little bit of damage from behind, hoping this nade goes through. Regnum Kaya completely stymieing his approach. I think it's a very smart play from Ragnarok as well to immediately switch back over towards the rest of the team. It put the pressure on Flip in a big way where he had to speed up his gameplay, accelerate a little bit because it meant his teammates dying. And Ragnarok might just get... I think getting the full team res is going to be a bit difficult. Maybe if he cleaned this up slightly sooner. There's a slight indecision here, and now Regnum Kai should be able to clean up the pieces nice and easily.
There we go. They are indeed eliminated. And Regnum Kai are now up to 5 elims. They've lost one of their players, but there's still plenty of firepower for them to play with, and 5 points, it's not a bad game by any stretch. Now, we head over to the route out of Jejina City, the bridge mouth here where E-Arena have sat. DRX were up in the buildings for a long time, and now they want to exert more control over the area and get past this E-Arena blockade on this northeast side. But R8 are pushing in from the west. They're already up to 7 elims, Blank. They've had a hot start to the game, and they want to continue taking out Hyunbin like it's nothing.
Hyunbin going down is pretty problematic. I mean, Hyunbin's probably one of DRX's better players as well. So him going out early there is pretty tough. Soaz now has a very, very big task ahead of him. But I would say that, you know, probably second best on the team here for the squad. Is able to take out one, making this into a 3v3 versus R8. Now, R8 could continue the warpath here since taking down the Brazilian squad in Alpha 7. Look to push out now. There is enemies all around, though.
Ooh, giving them the quick start steps, but it's not going to phase them at all. R8 have been through the ringer already, and they know the tricks of the trade. They'll move up to the north side now because E-Arena are struggling against one. They're getting mashed up across the road. What on earth just happened over there? R8, the major profit makers, though, on this engagement on the south side with IQ over the horizon. They continue to push up north.
Yeah, I mean, disgusting Molotov going through from QXE. He's able to find a lot of damage. Luckily, Prestige is able to move around the side, get the backstab, but he was putting up a valiant fight. Well, I don't know what to say here. This is such an evil circle to start off the day. In fact, just to start off PMGC in general. And Alpha 7 get incredibly lucky with this one. I think that's the play you have to make if you're a two-man squad, is you head to the unknown side of the map, which in this case is northeast. But they get so lucky this continuing to be in the circle in stage 5. I mean, by stage 5, you're usually assuming the circle to pick one of 2 landmasses to go to. But because this has been so central each time, the algorithm basically just says, well, we just have to split.
Yeah, it's a real nasty circle right now, and I mean, at the start of the game, playing like lemmings, you think that Alpha 7 do need to have a little bit of an uptick on performance there. As a rotate comes through for the Wolves, they're trying to crash on in. They do not have any other option. Thundertalk are going to be on the defense here. Plenty of teams trying to crunch their way through, as well as R8 try and move up north towards the IQ position, but they are finally falling. With 12 elims, though, they've already had a banger of a game. A nade onto the outside leaves just the one player now. Baton for Wolves alive up on the wall, dancing around, trying to find an opening, but it's not being presented. Thundertalk playing solid, stalwart on their defense, and there's nothing doing. Now he's at long range with the shotgun, and he's got to keep the lead pouring out, but it's not going to be enough to get all 3. But goodness me, it was close.
I mean, it's the correct move. It's the correct move from Thundertalks. It was slightly less glamorous than they were hoping potentially, but it is the right move, is to send 3 out on a quick spin there to take down Baton, because the way he was running around, I think they realized that they were just going to be wasting nades, sending them out the window, hoping for something like that. If they get this done right now, it means they can have a lot more pressure over towards the future. DXA played a blinder here on this game, moving over towards that northeastern position after seeing that circle and getting it done so effectively. APG with some good nades as per usual, but one is sent back their way in Scarface as well as Ketch, doing a huge amount of damage. Now APG down to just Doc on a sliver of HP.
And we talked about them a lot earlier, Blank. DXavier making that rotate in has really paid off. I mean, the circle's helped, but they have managed to maintain that position on the north side here. They are not across the water. They are still on that southwest side, and they are rotating through. They've had oversight on so many of these fights. I mean, we saw brilliant nades just then, but none of them really mattered for the teams throwing them because of so much pressure coming through from DXavier's position.
They have held a really nice 4-man split as well, which I'm sure the desk will talk about at some point, but being able to do that over towards that tree line is not easy. there's plenty of positions teams could backstab you from, but I think they were keeping tabs on the circle very, very well. And immediately, as you saw there, as soon as the team got anywhere close, that's where they started to open up. VP, who did fantastically well within their own region, now have set themselves up beautifully on this north side. They're one of the last to the circle as well. They were on a similar trajectory to Alpha 7, so both teams had similar ideas here. But in their case, VP has 4 players as opposed to Alpha 7's 2, so has a much larger chance at taking this game. I think for DXavier, it's a tall task ahead of them, right? They need to take down most of the teams on the western side. Then they need to get an initial knockover towards Virtus Pro to enable even a swim to take place. I think if you were to put money on this match, fake Monopoly money, of course, you'd probably be betting that on VP.
Yeah, I think that is the smart money right now. I think you might be right on that one. IQ trying to leave, GS dropping down, trying to find one of their backstops, and they will be able to do so fairly simply. I mean, the rotate necessary coming through from IQ. They're rotating up, and Prestige, who did manage to get out of this one, does finally fall down, will fall to IQ, and they will stop at 13 elims blank. Almost 50% of their points this match have come through from Alpha 7. Pretty fantastic, if you ask me. Thunder Talk now pushing in as well from that western edge.
Yeah, look to push through APG. Top and Doc were able to get back into the position. It's a cracking nade. A lot of splash damage on that bad boy. Flashed his own teammate, but he had eyes on. That was the main thing, right? He had eyes on. So the flash didn't matter. They mainly flashed Doc there.
It's all shock and awe, you know, they're just rolling on in. Big bang, big boom. They know where the player is.
Throw the stun grenade.
If you're both flashed and only one of you knows where the other one is, that's an easy win. Hey, look at this. Alpha 7. They've managed to find some divots very early across the way. Talked about them before. And now here we are, with them being given a massive amount of circle luck to keep themselves in this one.
Wow, what a lob from Parajun. Very, very long on the nade there. But Thunder Talks get up effectively, and DXavier have nothing to say about it. 7 elims so far for the Thunder Talks, and overall, I would say the team play is phenomenal this game. I've been very impressed with maybe not the mechanical skill, but the decision making overall has been very, very good from Thunder Talks.
Xavier with 2 players now, holding off against 3, and it's Lamball to fall, leaving just Nate left. He is closer to the water, and Thunder Talk do need to move on in, move a little bit closer here as the nades continue to roll on out. This is a bit more of a difficult push now. Virtus Pro may have oversight to some of these side angles that Thunder Talk are going to want to use to approach this situation, so it could be a little bit harder. That deployable cover as well, airdropping on in, giving them that concrete barrier, keeping them safe, but Alpha 7. They're still alive, by the way, and they've taken down DXavier.
That's an annoying one for Thunder Talks. I think they were just about to get that knock as well. But Alpha 7 salvaging this game as best as possible. I think that was only doable through this.
What on earth?
Yeah, this is rude. It's very rude. Thunder Talks might win this game. I might be wrong. I think for Virtus Pro, I mean, all things considered, this absolutely made sense for Virtus Pro to win this game. And I think that I would be lying to myself to say that I made a mistake that I don't think I did. I think it's just a case of the circles messing with us all right now. But for Thunder Talks, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think that just off the back of this game, there's been multiple moments where I thought that the team play is very, very good, which is usually something that is quite present in Chinese teams anyway, is that their team play is very, very good, but they're backing up with very, very quick maneuvers. So I quite like this from Thunder Talks. Virtus Pro immediately know they need to move across. I don't like that Thunder Talks aren't holding the water aggressively here, and I think that they're worried to go too far forward and expose themselves to angles from Alpha 7. But that does get Malai as well as Milky Way up with the 2 backstops in Aragon as well as Voston just watching their approach. Very well done. Very, very well done.
Yeah, I think this is really well played by Virtus Pro, and I think you're right on that. Alpha 7 off angle suppressing Thunder Talk on the south, on the western side. Just a note on the circle on the minimap, it's slightly offset from where it actually is. It's a little bit further southwest. than this, so it is actually centered up into the water here. It does look like it gives more of an advantage to the southwest coastline, but that is not the case. Four players for Virtus Pro. They're split 2 and 2. A nade here could be dangerous. Could cause themselves to bleed out a little bit further, but this is the time that Virtus Pro are going to use to flex out. They're really needing to control Alpha 7 here, and Thunder Talk can't take shots over towards their backstop with these front two playing it. Virtus Pro playing on a knife's edge right now, but it's working. A nade over the top, over towards Xing. Milky Way might drop down into the path of the nade, but the work has already been done. AJ getting taken down to the last player to stand for them, and the players across the way, Carrillo is chiming in too.
So
Thunder Talk up against the wall, and Virtus Pro have played this masterfully.
I mean, you might have a 2v2 here, though, between Alpha 7 and Virtus Pro going over towards that end game, depending on how AJ plays out these final moments. A lot of indecision there coming through from Thunder Talks. And there you go. This is exactly what I was talking about. Aragon now has to hit the deck. There is shots from the sideline. Obscure has to be clean with this one. He is not. And Malloy is providing support. Carrillo with it all down to him now in these final moments.
And he will not be able to meet the mark. Virtus Pro able to claim that Northern Shore on a deadly circle on Rondo Blank to kick us off. Alpha 7, I mean, they played like lemmings at the start of the match, but they claimed second place off a big shift up to the northeast side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would call that a big win for Alpha 7. It's a bit of a salvage game, but let's head back over to the desk to see what they had to think about this one.
Man, what a tough game there for Virtus Pro and Alpha 7, huh? I mean, that was a very difficult rotation. It's so ridiculous. Rondo, there's only the tiniest little bit of water, and it just so happens to land on majority of water here. Hey, it's PMGC circles, Max, man. What else can we expect, right?
Yeah, like Rondo, there's just a little river. There's no way it's going to come into play, right?
Yeah.
Right? And it does, like, it's genuinely so impactful in the later stages of this game. And it keeps shifting to the east every single circle shift. I don't know what the hell was happening. Alpha 7 and Virtus Pro, of course, congrats on the amazing game. You guys got a little bit lucky with the circle there, and you know what? They made the most out of it, Hot Jukes. That's what you want to see. And Virtus Pro, Aragon in particular, and Malloy, Milky Way, the guys putting up the numbers and coming out huge here on this first game on Rondo as the kings of the CSA region.
Let's go. I mean, it's so crazy. I mean, towards the end of that game, I mean, for us in the background, we were like, all right, yeah, you know what? Alpha 7, they got this win. And then for a second, we were like, all right, Thunder Talk, they are in the best position here. And then all of a sudden, just Virtus Pro with that 2-2 split, man, they crushed it, Neptura.
They did. I don't know how they got off of that ridge just into complete nothingness with only smokes, right? But it was the controlling aspect of the 2-2 split either side of the river. I was skeptical at first about how that was gonna go, but honestly, it worked so well because it meant that they could control each other's enemy aggressors rather. So really loved how they played that, controlled the circle, amazing.
Yeah, as we can take a look here at that game one more time there. Virtus Pro, man, they were able to just get it done right at the last second there. We saw Obscura try to be able to get that double knock, and I think that's really came down to that last little fight there, but he ends up getting taken down, and Virtus Pro just cleaned things up here, Max.
It's down to the smokes. You can see for a split second on the other side of the river, those smokes coming out from Virtus Pro were just paramount in them securing this chicken dinner at the start of the day, at the start of the Gauntlet stage. And Malloy, Milky Way, this duo sending it across the river, Neptura, and holding off all of Thunder Talk while keeping two players on the other side of the river to control the ridgeline. That was the game-winning play from Virtus Pro. And I don't know if it's too much to say, but I would say it's as close to perfect as it really was in that scenario for Virtus Pro. It was beautiful.
And to make such a perfect play out of such a difficult zone as well, right? To take that sort of high pressure scenario, it was not an easy game by any means. Yes, they might have had more time to think about it because they were on the other side of the river, but yeah, it's insane that they were able to bring that out of it.
Wait, Niptura, Hot Jukes, am I seeing Malloy with 870 damage, 4 limbs, and he's only taken 22 damage?
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
Bro,
he's out of the Matrix. Oh my... That's crazy stats. Okay.
Dude, ridiculous. I mean, one thing I really loved from them, though, was to have that heads up to cross the river, right? I think a lot of teams in that position, they're just like, you know what? We're going to hold this side and just see what happens. But no, they end up making that split, and it worked out for them big time, Max.
Yeah, definitely worked out for them big time. Let's go through some of the replays here of this match. And of course, a lot of hot drops, which you would expect Niptura, right, going into Rondo because of the recall tower system. But Alpha 7 losing to R8, definitely an unexpected run of events here in the compound northwest of Rondo. And Alpha 7 got to maybe rethink that hot drop because R8, they're coming in hot. They're swinging here for the MENA region.
Yeah, it is interesting that we weren't expecting to see A7 really not come out on top on that one, but yeah, maybe they'll have a little bit of a rethink. At least now Rondo's done and dusted. They got some time to think that one through maybe a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we see them do it again tomorrow, right? Because one time does not a decision make. I think they got to lose twice before they go, okay, yeah, maybe not. So we'll see tomorrow what they've got in store.
Yeah, I think it's harder to make that decision, too, when you end up in second place. You know what I'm saying? Like, the recall towers, I mean, it works out big time for them. But at the end of the day, yeah, them losing that fight was pretty tough. I mean, R8, got to give some big shout out to them. 5 eliminations off the rip in here, really utilizing this whole mechanic to their advantage.
Just farming eliminations in the early stages of the game. Though, we did see a few quick little replays in Iptra of a fight I think we both found very interesting. That southern fight on the gas station next to the bridge. You had DRX, you had E-Arena, R8, and Orangutan that I know that you wanted to talk about that actually, instead of going for the aggressive approach, went a little bit slower here, and that allows them to secure 9 points on this first game.
9 points, top 4 is exactly what they needed to start the day off right. Start all of PMGC off right? But I really liked what they did there because they knew R8 was right next to them, and they thought, listen, if we third-party DRX and E-Arena, then R8 are just going to third-party us. We're going to leapfrog all of this, let R8 do that third-party, and then we're just going to gatekeep them the whole time. And that got them those placement points. They were able to full send it to the middle and get top 4. A brilliant play. And this is what I'm saying. They're a smart team. They know what they're doing against these global teams.
Yeah, and though looking at the leaderboards we saw for a second there, Hot Tricks, we need to mention Thunder Talk. Like, those guys, 15 points right out of the gates here for the PL region, setting up absolutely game-winning positions onto the western side. I think earlier on they had a big 2-2 split, then they regrouped onto mini heaven, as we were calling it in this game, a little plateau area, and their zoning capabilities were just second to none. They were so efficient at making sure they were creating space for themselves to transition later on in that game. Thunder Talk, I want to see more of this because this is the Thunder Talk you expect to see coming forward after their PL season.
And their quick decision making, I think, really showed off right here, because you saw Xavier in a really dominant position, but ThunderTalk wasted no time, pushed on them, and took them out the game. But you know, Xavier ended up with 8 points. ThunderTalk ended up with 15. But it's all Malloy here. I mean, look at that, 870 damage. What a great start here for this team, Max. Now, here's the rest of the top 4 players, and I'm not surprised we see, of course, one of the ThunderTalk players right here and now, Max.
Yeah, setting up the plays at the end there. And I think, Nipchura, talking about actually sitting and ThunderTalk, that push we saw later on in the game onto, I believe it was Xavier over that little valley point, keeping one player on the backside, I believe it was King.
Yes.
That was literally the most perfect execution of that play for ThunderTalk in particular that we could have expected in that situation. It was so well played.
It was so nice. I'd love to see sitting pretty number 2 here on the top 4 players. It's really nice, and it's really it's a good example or a good representation of what this game was for them. It was really nice.
Beautifully done, beautifully done. I mean, man, R8 starting off strong. So many different things to talk about, but that's it for Rondo. Next up, we're gonna go into Erangel, Max. And when it comes to Erangel, right, we already saw some hot drops in Rondo. I know that we're gonna possibly have some ones here in the big map of Erangel. Which ones do you think are gonna happen here, Max?
Well, I'm a bit scared about Virtus Pro and Alpha 7 because they both drop in George Pole / Lipovka. Also, they do drop in Mill to Power for Virtus Pro, so there could be a little bit of a clash there. But the main one, I think that me and Nipchura are both going to be heavily paying attention to moving forward, is going to be GS Team hot dropping APG in military base, because they kept doing it during the scrims. Are they going to do it today, Nep? I'm hoping no, but they might.
I really hope they don't, because like we discussed yesterday, right, while we were watching that, it's like, if you want to go and hot drop another team that maybe has just switched to that position because of PMGC, then fine. But you don't hot drop APG in the location they have had for years across multiple different teams. No matter what team they're on, they drop military base. They know the ins and outs so intimately of that location that for GS to go, hey, actually, we're going to uproot you out of that. No, you're not. It's not happening. Go somewhere else. Don't hot drop. Don't do it.
It's big enough to have 2 teams, okay, guys?
Dude,
it's way more than enough buildings and
APG's like,
military
nah.
base. Yeah, it like genuinely,
Military.
Hot Jukes, if we see the fight happen again between GS Team and APG in military, it's 100% intentional, and I think GS are kind of throwing.
Yeah, I mean,
want
honestly.
it not to be top 7.
Because even when we were watching it during the scrims, it's not like any of these teams were, either the 2 squads were walking away unscathed, right? Like, they were all walking away with 2 players gone or 1 player out of there. And I mean, when we're playing 3 Erangels, this is the map in particular you don't want to waste any time on, right? So
yeah,
it's crazy to see, I mean, a hot drop of this scale. But I mean, we talk about, I mean, these teams here, and APG in particular, they don't move for nobody, Max.
They're never gonna, like, I think that we're gonna be 10 years in the future in PUBG Mobile Esport, and APG will still drop on Sovnovka Island in military base, okay? This is their position for the longest time, and it will stay that way moving into the future. Though, looking at the hot drops that used to happen, we used to have Orangutan, right? Neptura hot dropping versus Regnum Karia in Rozhok. They changed their drop location now dropping around Shelter area. They can also go to Severny if they want. I think this is a great change for the better, and I'm really happy with Orangutan making that switch.
Yeah, I am too, because it really plays into their edge style, their edge play style, right? They like to wrap around the edge and control as the game gets later and later. And so to go center when all the other teams also, a lot of teams also play center in this lobby. So to land center and then try to play edge is going to be too much of a hassle, and you're probably going to get caught out early. So it's really nice to see them move to a more of an edge position on the map. And so then they can actually play how they want to play a lot easier.
Yeah, you can see these players locked, loaded, ready to go here into Erangel. Are we going to see those hot drops? Military base is going to get crazy. And it's, I mean, it still just freaks me out every single time, because I'm like, why are we dealing with this? There's so much room. You could easily have a team go Novo, loot half the place, and be fine with it, but they're going to crack away at it no matter what, you know? Now, we got some other teams, other players here that I definitely want to talk about, right? We didn't get to really talk about at the top of the show about GK, right, Max? And I know Nerzed joining them has been a really, really big improvement for them. What do you think about that?
I really like the way Nerzed has been playing with the team during PMSL Mina. He was so impactful, but also not just solo carrying. Very clearly, it's the entire team putting up some really good results. Berlin, Kevin, Nerzed, Ragnarok, everyone's doing fantastic in their games. Safety also, of course. And I do think it's still a slow process because adding a player as experienced as Nozed in this team, it's still taking time for them to adapt because they have a completely different meta, right? From when he was in CSA, now joining the MENA region. But they've had time now since PMSL MENA, and now going into this tournament. So I feel like that synergy is going to be even stronger. And if that's the case, maybe we could see a MENA team make it to the finals. I feel like that's the region a lot of people are looking at. That might not have any teams to represent them in the finals, but if any of them is going to make it, I think GK is definitely one of those squads that I'm going to be paying very close attention to.
Yeah, and I also think that maybe in PMGC, in a global lobby, they're actually going to be a little bit more comfortable because now Nurzed is able to bring that global experience that he has to the team and forge the team as it needs to be, you know, tweaked or whatever, right? Whereas going into the regionals, they were still playing as a regional team a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see if that experience, if that influence is going to actually make them have a better time at PMGC.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to see. There's so many different roster changes, so much things happening right now, but it all comes down to this, guys. There's only 7 slots to be able to head towards the grand finals, and if you do not get there, oh man, it's going to be a tough battle in the group stage. We got 10 seconds left to go. These guys are getting locked and loaded. We are headed into Erangel for the first time.
Who's going to get the better end of the stick here? A hop in through the window from Doc and actually finds an AKM. DBS though in the hands of D3S. That's going to be nasty. Fortunately, Doc's down as well. And Alpha Gaming actually definitely on the back foot of this as Reefus takes a lick down the hall.
Yes. For GS, not a bad start for them. APG were fighting over this in the test matches as well. It's interesting to see this one come back again. So this was a little engagement that was taking place multiple times during scrims. Looks like it wasn't one to conclude too quickly. Both teams kind of were going back and forth on this. APG were winning a couple of times. GS were winning a couple of times themselves. So it really was undecided who would be able to take this one. You also got Geeke over towards Novorepnoya as well. So it's certainly a difficult scenario now for APG as well as GS. Who's going to be winning off the back of this one? I mean, APG down to 3 players, GS still at 4. So the ball is in their court realistically.
No recall beacons for Doc this time around. Ziol biding his time. Reefus ticking up slowly on the stims. Icon puts the pin back in the nade. Missteps a lot more costly here on Erangel, obviously. Taking that recall beacon away. Alpha 7 far flung from the thick of it right now over towards Lipovka, heading up towards the north. And given the circle, I think that's probably the right choice. The circle did pop all the way up to shooting range. Long road for these two teams. They need to conclude pretty soon if they want to get in with a chance of actually having a decent shot to the circle.
Definitely a long journey, and there's no recall beacons anymore to assuage those problems. APG's kind of stuck here now too, because you can't really make the backstep over towards the hillside behind them, very exposed. Once you move out the way, GS, all they have to do is head over towards the roof and start taking shots. So APG's sort of locked into this fight. It's a long journey up north as well, with the circle setting up over towards shooting range. It's unideal.
Zhou. He's been hiding behind this wall for a while now. I don't know if they know about it, but if they get up to that high ground, they will. Can't really move up to the roof. It's just so exposed, and you don't really know fully where Reefus is. Nade from D3S. I think they know he's behind the wall now. Long nade. Don't think that tagged too much damage, but Zhou had to reposition and the footsteps give it away. They know where they're playing now. A stunner out wide to slow down a push that didn't come through for GS. And Alpha Gaming still just holding, playing as 3. Top off in the distance as well. A Molotov out on the door. It just keeps just at bay time and time again. It feels like every single time GS are stepping forwards, but they're just getting rebuffed.
It's very much a stalemate fight. And again, it's one of those things where APG has to commit to this now, where if GS want to keep dropping on them over towards military, then APG need to make it as hellish as possible going forward. If you want to keep dropping here, we won't leave. Even if you take down one of us, we will remain, and we're going to make your lives very tough. Which is a bit of a stubborn approach, but I think APG and stubbornness go hand in hand anyway.
Yeah, I think that's...
But it's the start of the tournament, so they've got plenty of time to convince other teams not to come here.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they want to get up towards the top 7 in Gauntlet, which really is the ultimate goal of these teams here, they do need to try and get that one shifted a little bit further down the pipeline as fast as possible in the next 3 days. See what more they can earn. Aaron Gold, obviously a major feature of these days, with a 50% of your matches played on the grassy pastures. Taking a look at the points right now, I mean, R8 with 13, which is crazy on that first match, despite going down fairly early on in the overall standings. I think it was 6th or 7th or something on the placements. But Virtus Pro and Thunder Talk just a little bit ahead of that. And the fact that Alpha 7 got 9 in the end boggles the mind. Kara moving parallel now to the so-called hometown heroes right now. Certainly the only representative from the hometown in the Gauntlet stage. We'll be seeing Vampires in the finals as well. But Irina going to be moving alongside Kara.
Joker just watching this unfold. They pass on by, which isn't great, to be honest with you, for E-Arena. I think I would have rather have got moving a little bit early with Kara, taking a proactive approach there. It does set up a bit of a landmark that's going to block off E-Arena when they start to come through. VP also will be making a bit of a rotation over towards the north side. Round Stalba likely. APG regress over towards GS.
Reefus with the pump action. Alpha Gaming taking a little bit more ground back under control in the long building, but they left a backstop in the cupboard there, and 2 players go down immediately as well. It's getting turned around, it's getting traded off. It's chaos on the inside here, Blank, but Alpha Gaming managing to stand tall amongst it. The push back in has worked. They are making it hellish indeed. There's Jafar now, the last player to stand for GS. Spots Reefus, ducking down behind the box, and has to head up the stairs instead to stay safe. The blue zone is ticking away. It's slow, but it's there. The dropout from Jafar into a 1 versus 1 now, and Alpha Gaming and GS still toe-to-toe in C block. The bomb action through the window. He gives them the do-si-do and puts them back in the lamp.
I mean, the one tap as well is pretty impressive coming through from Jafar. And their wish is granted, like you say. Military base is theirs. APG do go down. They do lose a lot for it, though. Only 4 elims and only 2 players remaining off the back. Thunder Talk over towards the north side compound, just the west of Severny. I actually don't mind this position at all. Quite like it on our screens right now. A lot of capability for maneuvers later on, which is good stuff. And it shifts down towards the southwest side, where DRX is currently playing on the dead trees. Zaki for Alpha 7's an interesting one.
They started with the
They have been cowed.
Well, fine. You know what? I mean, they sent there early, right? And they're going to have to play from that northwest side. Geeke moving on in on the east edge with Ulf. Just to their south, up in the hills, you can see the ridge lines, the trees, the terrain play here will inevitably be incredibly crucial. As DRX look to regroup, Alpha 7 poking their noses in too, but Creo, he's turned away. Spots too much danger for his liking. Waits for the rest of his team.
It's a good time for Alpha 7 to move. I mean, you said it started in Lipovka, moved over towards here. You're getting a lot of value off the back of this one with the circle moving over towards that western side. Geeke currently on our screens. Moving through the center of the circle, but no real position to stay right now. The arena finally made that move from the western coast. They are on the south side. Kara is still posing a bit of a threat to them, being a little bit annoying, but Marcel having to swim here does give free rein now for E Arena to push over towards that eastern side. Potentially even past the Xavier. Kind of like their split. 2 and 2 across the roadside. Tucked in over towards the hillside on the east.
I'm confused about what Marceau's doing right now. Because Kara have got control of the bridge. Fully. He just fancied a swim. He wanted to go back to the last game. He's like, oh, we went in the final circle. I want to be in there. Nah, just get on to North George. Come on. Kick up the pace. Regnum Kaya, they are slap bang center, but they're in a bit of a divot here with a lot of oversight from on the surrounds. It's going to be difficult to move away from this, but it's very central, which is the big positive of that spot. They'll be able to play on from there. The DXavier 2-2 split to their south flank as well is a big threat to them, but could be a bit difficult for DXavier to hold. We'll see if they have more success than they did against Thundertalk from the last match.
Honestly, I loved Thundertalk gameplay from that last match. And I think that it is definitely difficult to deal with a team that is very coordinated like that. I want to see more from them. I mean, 15 points already is a really, really good start. And for Thundertalks to get into that top 7 will be a big boon for their region. Alpha 7 starting to cross from that field on the western side, but still really difficult to determine where you want to play on this circle. It's not amazing spots all around. I think even moving down this way, you're very, very tough to find decent spots to play now. I think a lot of teams are going to shift over towards that western side, try and play the east edge of Georgia Pole. First Pro up against Thundertalks once again. Like you said, sighting does go down, but for their troubles, they're at least able to find one.
They're able to get... Oh, Virtus Pro able to claim a point there. Thundertalk not so lucky, and IQ are tagging onto the back as well. King going down, should be flushed out. Gonna be real tricky to make that one work. Rectum Kaya holding their central spot as well, defending as they move. Sorry, they're not holding. They sent all the way down to the south coast. Goodness me. Okay, a big rotate coming through in the midst of it. They give up the position a bit further up the hill and instead take control of the roadsides blank, which slither through the middle of this next circle. A lot of control for Regnum Kaya still.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk too much about Regnum Kaya other than that initial push from last game. But definitely a team that we're expecting big things from in the future, and already a very, very good position on this map to play around with across the roadside. It is going to require a little bit of gusto from them to hold on to this spot, but I think that Regnum Kaya can make it happen. R8 currently playing box, which is not a bad position at all. I think for E Arena, it looks better than it actually is over on this south side. It's going to be kind of tough to move across that open ground, even past all four DXavier or Wolves even holding on that north side. So I think for E Arena, they may struggle slightly.
Alpha 7 trying to dodge the spray downs. Looks successful for now. Kara moving in from that western side, slowly moving through North George. Marceau did finally get toweled off after his swim under the Georgia Bowl Bridge. And now they'll have to try and move further east with Virtus Pro and Alpha 7 in the way, though. That is going to be tricky, and the blue zone is starting to hurt now into stage 3, closing in 39 seconds to stage 4. That's where it starts to become impossible to play inside that blue, and they're kind of caught in the crux of it, Blank. I think Kara not long for this one.
I mean, they didn't have a bad spot to play around with. They even got ahead of the issue with Irina. Like, the initial rotates from Kara were good. Yeah, getting torn to pieces by Virtus Pro a little bit here has been pretty rough, at least. We should be able to get the players back up in action. Next move, right? What's the next step here? How do we move Knight from here? Because I think that they're likely not taking a win back of this one, and it is more checkmate on their side of things right now. Regnum Kaya pushing over towards the bridge. Actually, unironically, a very good position. Looks bad. Is pretty good.
I mean, yeah, right now it is brilliant cover, brilliant hard cover. The downside is that R8 are sort of just around the corner. Could be difficult if nades start to pour on through. In the meantime, this northwest side is getting treacherous. DRX moving on through, and Alpha 7 clashing with them. They stayed back from the fight for quite a while. They moved all the way out to Zaki on a wide wrap from Lipovka. And now they're starting to push towards the circle. Kara spreading out in a line behind them might prove to be a difficult obstacle. And Obscure going down means DRX are starting to turn the tides of this fight. A second knock found as well. And really not too much damage seen in response towards DRX.
I mean, that's one way to do it, right? Is if you can't quite see your target, you just blindly spray through the smoke and typically gets the job done. I think for Kara, they're so far on the outside of the circle that, yeah, it was only a matter of time before this started to happen. DRX still trying to put the pain on over towards Alpha 7. Grease out, moving off in the distance. Tanky gets taken down. Quick jump into the vehicle from DRX. Can I say slightly low, but is healing. I do think for Regnum Kari, it's not actually that bad between them and R8, because the chances... right now, at least, I think the chances that R8 leaves box in the relative safety of those outside windows right here to take shots or nades down towards Regnum Kaya, very slim. I think for Regnum Kaya actually working pretty well in tandem with R8.
Ooh, Ragnarok doing a lot of work for Geeky there as well on that northeast side. IQ cut down. Still going with a little bit more gas in the tank, but you don't imagine that they've got too much more for Orangutan. It is going to be a difficult move now with one player left. Marceau's in as well, but he's taking fire from across the way. I think that's Thunder Talk. I think that may be Regnum Kaya if they step up on that south side that they've managed to move out for an outpost with. Loxy, I mean, he spotted this cross. This is, oh, a nice little pickup there. A little bit too bold from Loxy, in fact, there as R8 spot him on an off angle.
I don't really know why he pushed out so far. He wants to take down the straggler there from Orangutan, but it's not meant to be. The Xavier, do you remove Mad Bulls? Only 4 elims this game. Will be taken down. Virtus Pro currently playing on the bridge alongside on that western edge, but Ulf has something to say about Aaron here. This team's actually really quite strong. I think that we haven't seen all that much out of Ulf recently, but Aaron does get clipped by the circle, and like you say, in stage 4 here will start to hurt quite a bit more than a zap, more like a proper taser on that side of things.
Yeah, he gets flushed out as well. Couldn't quite make it. Couldn't quite make the run. Ulf now a player down, not ideal, but they are on the Kobe. They can go way towards their advantage. It's going back up to that northern side Blank. That gives the position for DX on the buildings a bit of potential here, and they were able to a lot of that area and play that ridgeline potentially further towards the south. This could be a pretty solid spot moving forwards for DX. Xavier is a lead that is going to be difficult. No one really tests on the north, so maybe that's going to give them an opening.
It's nice the circle does come over from the south and heads up. And Dick Xavier do have a fairly strong spot to work with. Even they're trying to remove GS3 on the backside of this building. They're being very vigilant clearing this one out, by the way. There's only 2 players. I mean, they have to be if they want to wrap around towards that north side. 2 good grenades, but no dice on that.
Joker crawling back to Sakura. I think find this res. Jafar not quite in position, and a big nade from Tony K gets that knock and almost immediately gets the flush there. Well, nicely found. Sakura gets that res, and Arena playing on now as 4, but they have to move up to the coastline here and into the waiting arms of R8, of Regnum Kaya. Mormon makes first approach and will get immediately backed off the angle. I think Marso's chiming in there as well. This is a really difficult rotate for Arena. I would be surprised if they make it unscathed.
If they can regroup on Mormon, sure. But we'll have to wait and see. Like you say, it's a tough rotate for them to make. Wolves now wrapping on DX Xavier on that northwest side. Let's see if DX Xavier are able to hold them off down the line of shields. It's a pretty good regroup. That is a fantastic nade. Honestly, an airburst might have done the trick there. Silas has to do it all himself once again. With the double. Fantastic stuff. Zed Wolves goes a little bit too high, but Silas really throws the dazzler.
Sometimes the old dog doesn't need new tricks. Just play what you know. And the nade on target is brilliant for Silas. One of the longest standing veterans of the PUBG Mobile scene on the global stage. No one really has more experience than him. And that's going to calm the nerves. Marth spray down towards Mormon. And Arena, I mean, I said I'd be surprised to see them make it unscathed. They did make it, but they were not unscathed after that. Silas saw to it. And now 2 of them have fallen, but they do manage to get into the next circle.
Good nade from Coops from up on high over towards DX Xavier. It's a good opening. And after that, instantly Doran's in as the front man from Romania. Very, very good stuff that he can bring to the table. Has always been a fantastic fragger, and now on a team that can really utilize his performance.
2 players for Wolves down. They managed to get an opening too, but that is not going to be enough there. It seems like DX Xavier can't hold off these pushes. Thunder Talk and now Wolves have been able to take advantage of positions that seemed very, very strong. And with Wolves being able to pick up those 3 elims, now GK are going to try and capitalize. 1 player does stay down. Doran is back up to his feet with a nade in hand. I'm surprised he's not going for that heal. There's that first knock, and Wolves look to hold off in a solid fashion where DX Xavier could not. Coops, I think he wanted to hop out the window there. Maybe a little bit too slow. Second time's a charm, but Hicksword goes down on the sideline. 3 players fall on the approach, but 3 in response, and it's up to Doran versus Saf. And now pushing onto the outside there. Doran loses one of his teammates. They are flushed away. It opens up for the door frame, but will be blasted back off its hinges.
Safji underneath. Oh, trying to make his way back up the stairs here. Like you say, Doran, all down to him now. Nade in hand. This has to be a golden throw. And will head further down the stairs. Has 1 more to try and make it happen. Quick switches between the weapons. But teammates are starting to bleed out. Safji realizes he's just going to go for those elimination points. Pick those up where he can. Doran jumps out the window. Goes for a similar scenario. Takes down the entire team between the 2 of them.
Saf G has to go for the reload there, but he's managed to get it in time. Oh no, the off angle comes through as well and forced into the fight. He wasn't ready for it. Wolves fall and nobody can hold these buildings. GK very, very slow to be able to get out of this position as well. It's going to make their approach really tough. They're playing now as 2 players on that northern side. Regnum Kaya still in a great spot, and R8 as well, having a second really strong game to open the tournament.
I mean, for R8, I've been... Well, again, I said it was unsurprising. I think they're a team that's improved a lot over the years. and they have remained steadfast between one another. So I do think they deserve all the prestige that they're requiring throughout this gauntlet. Good shot from Marth over towards Saf as he attempts to leave that position. Will explode on the vehicle there, leaving Geek high and dry with just the one player in. Kevin tries to make a move out. Marth's got his eyes that way too. Doesn't quite have his number though.
Not quite on the bead fully, unfortunately. Kevin gets a little bit further forwards. R8 regroup back down to the compound that they've held for a while now and continue their solid hold on the riverbank. Circle definitely north leaning, but Regnum Kai have been holding this 2-2 split for a while. They like these river splits. They've played quite significantly on them in these sorts of situations, and they played them pretty well in the past. And they're looking to do just the same here. Mormon still alive for E-Arena. Turney K as well, off on that western side. The 2 players left for the team from Thailand as the circle pops.
Towards the west. Still has a lot of water in this one as well, so getting flashbacks over towards Rondo now. Thunder talks with their singular player, looking to pump the placement points a little bit with their 18 from their last game. Very obvious someone's in here, at least. Marth again, really not leaving Kevin alone. Despite asking multiple times, Prestige gets an off angle on it and will pick him up. As the circle moves further towards that western side, Regnum Karya get more and more of the advantage here. But I think that both Silas as well as Zedwolf know they need to have a very, very strong hold towards the south side, because